I know, another schedule release time change thing. Blame that pesky World Cup. We've got to keep moving around to slot ourselves into the gaps between matches there. We're going to be releasing Backing the Boro 6 p.m. every day, well, every weekday for the next 2 weeks. Then I think, looking at the World Cup schedule, we should be all right to slot back into our normal 4 o'clock slot. Apologies for all the messing around, but I know most of you would rather be watching real football rather than videos about football games, so it makes sense to me. And plus, to add to the whole please forgive me thing, today I've changed tactic and we're top of the championship. Hello and welcome to part 122 of Backing the Boro. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode we have 2 games in the championship for you. We're at home against Leeds and then away against Portsmouth. But as you can see from this delicious looking league table over here, since you were last with me, things have been going really rather well. We actually went on a run of 5 straight wins. It all went a little bit wrong in this last game against Fulham, although the score doesn't necessarily tell the whole story, because we did go down to 10 men, and that's when they actually pulled away and won the game. It was a fairly close match up until the point we went down to 10 men. We also had a game back here somewhere where we went down to 9 men. Might have been the Brighton game. No. But it's the second time this season we went down to 9 men. James Ball got... Was it Ipswich maybe? There you go. James Ball got sent off in the 7th minute for a horror tackle, and Morris King joined him. Is it Morris? It is Morris King. Joined him in the 90th minute, but we won the game comfortably, even with 10 men for almost the entirety of it. And with James Ball suspended, it meant for the next couple of games we didn't have an attacking midfielder who was in form. I know Albert Richardson's still at the club, but we've got all these strikers, so we immediately switched to a 4-3-3, which we've been toying with for a little while. And at that point, Sean Hull decided to introduce himself to the team properly. He's been on loan since the start of the season, but now he's scoring an absolute ton of goals. If we have a look at his recent form, 2 braces since he's been part of a front 3. He actually got a couple of goals against Brighton as well when he was one of the 2 strikers up front when we were down to 10 men. So Sean Hull is playing well, Ollie Stainsby is playing well, Chris Ruggles is playing well, Kent Wheatley is playing well. We're overflowing with strikers. So although James Ball is fit again today and has now broken the record, he is our all-time record appearance holder, he's not actually going to be starting, because where do I fit him into the team? Who do I drop? These 3 are all in great form. Wheatley would be my first substitution. So for now, James Ball's not even going to be on the bench, and it's going to be a tactical change that is the only way he's ever going to make it back into this team, I think. So this is our team for today's game against Leeds. We've got Hugo in goal, a back 4 of O'Brien, King, Taggart and Sawyer, with Barron, Hayes and Denny in midfield. Denny is currently just in incredible form once again. We thought he was good last year. He was having the season of his career last year. He's now even older, believe it or not, 32 years old now, but having an even better start to this season than he played last season. The man is clearly matures finely with age. Like me, gets better with age. I call him an old man. He's still younger than I am in real life. I'm 50 in game now, by the way, which is hideous. And then we've got Hull, Ruggles and Stainsby up front. Don't worry about Hull being injured. He's just got a gashed head and he's wearing protective gear, so he should still be fine to play. So let's get into the match. I am desperate for this 4-3-3 to work with you lot watching. It has been working well in the few games that we've used it, although obviously it wasn't ideal in that last game against Fulham, but I'm going to blame that on the red card. And we actually were level in the game while we were still using the 4-3-3. We'd gone down to 2 strikers by the time we conceded. Use your words, Kev. Leeds, up until very recently, were top of the championship, though. This is going to be our biggest test of the season. They're only 1 point behind us, and everybody knows we're playing massively above our level at the moment. The question is, did the wheels fall off against Fulham, or is it just a blip and the excellent form continues? And I think we're going to get a big answer to that today. And if Taggart gets sent off here, then we have a problem. And we've had so many red cards recently. I don't understand why we're getting so many players sent off for wild tackles like that. So, once again, we're not going to get to see the tactic working. We don't have a right back on the bench either. 2 left backs on the bench. which is handy. So Hayden Sheridan's going to come on. We're going to move O'Brien over to left back. This is what we did against Fulham as well. O'Brien played at right back once what's-his-face got sent off. But, well, so much for showing you the 4-3-3 in action. And now we're playing against a team that are better than us. They were in the Premier League last year. They've been an established Premier League team for a lot of this save. And now we've got to try and not lose against them whilst playing with 10 men. And one of them's got a hole in his head that, like, blood and stuff is falling out of regularly, and he's wearing a special hat to stop the blood falling out. And he's booked as well. We have survived to half-time, though. It's 0-0 at half-time. And it's been, apart from the red card, pretty much a nothing game at the moment. There's not been much in the way of shots. We've had masses more possession than they have. It seems like they've been paying attention to our free-scoring attacking antics recently and have decided to just come here and patiently let us have the ball, let us tire ourselves out, let us do something dumb, like get a player sent off for a wild tackle, and then just use their Premier League experience and extra fitness and extra quality to just go and grab a winner at some point in the second half. And that's probably what they'll do. I imagine we're going to see Leeds go up a gear at some point this half. They've already had the first clear-cut chance of the game in the first 8 minutes of the half, and they are on the attack again. King makes a wild challenge, and Hugo makes an excellent save. Lee Hugo is in good form at the moment, which is usually the cue for him to do something ridiculous. They're kicking Hull some more. We have got Wheatley on the bench, so he can come on for Hull if we decide we need that. Hayes with the free kick, though, and it was Sawyer, and I think we've won a penalty. We have won a penalty, kind of against the run of play for this second half. I don't know who's taking it. Who have we got who's left-footed? It is Sean Hull to take the penalty, and that is his 7th goal in 4 games at this point, and he's done it with a hole in his head, and with half an hour to go, we are 1-0 up against Leeds, and imagine if we pull off another massive result down to 10 men. Just try and picture how good we are when we have 11 players on the pitch at the moment. We are just playing very well. That felt like another wild tackle from Leeds that time, but it kind of nothing really came from it. Now Sawyer's sliding in. There are slide tackles everywhere at the moment. Has there been an update to this game or something that's just causing players to slide in? I very, very rarely in my Football Manager life have used the, I don't even know what it's called, the ease in on tackles thing. See, I use it so infrequently, I don't know what it's called, but we are just sliding around constantly, and I am wondering if we're reaching a point where we might need to put that on. And I don't really know what's changed this season. I know the first year we had in the Championship, like 4 or 5 seasons back now, we were getting a lot of players sent off, and I just put it down to, well, we're not really in these games, we're last minute lunges and we're struggling a little bit, and that's why it's happening. Now Morris King's injured. That's a problem. Because, again, we've only got left-backs on the bench. Right. Alex Denny can play centre-back. I don't really want him to, but he can. So we'll bring on Alex Barber and do that. If Leeds don't win this game now with the state of that defence we've got on, I don't really understand. Hull is shattered as well. Clearly his hole in the head is troubling him, so we're going to have to bring on Wheatley. So we've made all our substitutions with 20 minutes to go. But yeah, as I was saying, when we were in the Championship the very first time and we were giving away a lot of penalties, I thought it's just because we weren't very good. But now we're dominating matches, we're playing really well, but we're getting players sent off constantly. And they're not for like second bookings for, oh, he's just really been struggling to handle that opposition player. They're constantly for these wild, crazy slide tackles. And we seem to get away with a lot of them as well. We've had a couple we've got away with in today's match. So I don't get it. I don't get why we've suddenly started doing wild slide tackles. We've not changed anything about the tactic of... See, another one. He's on a yellow card and he's doing a wild slide tackle like that. What is happening? But I don't know. It's very odd. I've not changed anything other than putting an extra man up front. And obviously he's not even on the pitch at the moment. So this is exactly how the old tactic used to be. And we're sliding around constantly. And now we are losing. I mean, we were from the moment we got a man sent off, we were always supposed to lose. And remember, our two Premier League youngster defenders are both off the pitch as well. So not only are we down to 10 men, we're playing with a very, very makeshift defence. It's Josh Sawyer, who we signed when we were in non-league, with 2 left backs and a midfielder. So the fact that they've only scored twice is, I think we have to take some credit for how well we're playing there. The problem is, obviously, 2 defeats in a row, then it starts to affect morale and momentum and that kind of thing. And despite the fact we've played well against both Fulham and Leeds, it could lead to a dip in form, which might well start against Portsmouth. I wonder if we don't beat Portsmouth, it'll be time to bring back the 4-3-1-2, because I want people to stop getting sent off, and apparently 3 strikers means slide tackle. I still don't know why. Well, I have no idea what changes I've made to this team now. I picked it like an hour ago before the council decided to turn up and cut down a tree behind my house. It was properly loud. It might have even been interrupting the end of that last match. I didn't notice at the time, but as soon as I was done, it was just a constant horrible noise. So this is the team for the next match against Portsmouth. We have a very makeshift looking defence. O'Brien suspended. Taggart suspended. King is out injured for 2 months. Matt Symes, who admittedly is only a backup striker, he's done his cruciate ligaments and is out for the rest of the season. So we've kind of thrown together a defence that includes Nathan Ashworth, who I think I introduced you to on the first episode of this season. He's played a few games. We signed him in the summer as an emergency right back. Goodness me, it's hot in here with the door closed. Whew! And then Anderson's coming into the midfield as well. I think the front 3 remains unchanged from what we used against Leeds. Brandon Hughes is not close to match fit, but we don't have much in the way of other central defensive options. We had a bit of a pickle like this last season when we started to lose a few defenders to injuries. We're quite thin when it comes to central defensive options, and if we're going to have King out probably until, where are we now? He's going to be out until Christmas, I guess, at this point. We're early November in game at the moment, so we might struggle a little bit, especially if Taggart gets the extra 2 matches on his suspension. Is there seriously a fly in here now? I mean, what am I supposed to do? I need to record these videos in a soundproof vacuum. Has anyone got a soundproof vacuum studio that I can borrow for like an hour a day to record some YouTube videos? Because this is just a joke. Get lost, moron fly. Ay. Are we winning yet? No, of course we're not. We are still in 3rd place, though, so I can't really complain too much. Looking at that league table, being in 3rd place after 15 games is an absolute delight. I would be over the moon with a top half of the table finish this season. Cloud 9 if we manage to make it into the playoffs. And in the unlikely event we rediscover the form that we were in before these last 2 games, and we go on another 5-6 game winning run and end up top of the league and getting promoted automatically, I don't know. I don't know for sure I'll be able to cope with that. What just happened? What did Hugo just do? Well, somehow he's given away a penalty, not even been booked. He kind of ran forward and fell over the ball, but then saves the penalty. So we're not going to worry too much about it. I don't really get what the penalty was given for. Hugo kind of fell over it, but continues his excellent form by just completely getting away with it, falling over the ball, giving away a penalty in the process, then saving the penalty. Because he's the goalkeeper that dreams are made of. Good old Lee Hugo. Well, he looks a little bit short. I mean, he's been our keeper for a couple of years now. Let's just have a look how tall he is. You'd think this would be something a manager would look at before recruiting the keeper. Oh, he's 6 feet tall. So a little bit on the short side for a man of my stature. But, probably tall enough to make it as a professional football goalkeeper. Because a lot of footballers, I've noticed, are rather short. Another thing I noticed, which you'll have seen if you follow me on Twitter, when I was watching the England game yesterday, which obviously if you're watching this 6 months down the line, it wasn't yesterday. I'm talking about when England scored all those goals against Panama in the World Cup. That World Cup that we... delete is appropriate. That World Cup that we went on to win and we're all really happy about, / that World Cup where that was the high point and it was all downhill from there. I'm not sure which of those scenarios is true yet, but I'm sure it has to be one of the two. But I noticed in that game all the England players had their socks pulled up over their knees, which again feeds into my theory that they're all quite short, because I couldn't pull a sock up over my knee if I tried, because my legs are too long. Stainsby's in behind and forces a save out of the Portsmouth keeper, and we've been lively in this game. The front 3 looking, lively is the right word. Lenton and Anderson combining for a weird corner. Ruggles is really deep. Why is Ruggles the man dropping back there? In fact, I know the answer to that question. Denny nearly scored. It's because we're still using the corner instructions that we used with the 4-3-1-2, and Ruggles being in the centre of the 3 is officially the James Ball, and that's where we stuck James Ball for corners. So we probably, if we're going to use this 4-3-3 long term, need to create a more appropriate corner tactic for it, where, you know, we have the 3 strikers all in the penalty area, especially when we've got 3 big lads on like we have at the moment. Ruggles is he's playing as the target man, and we've got him dropping deep when we take corners, which is just stupid. How is that only a yellow card? If we'd have done that, that's a straight red every day of the week. Hull with a quick free kick and causes problems in the area, but one of the problems caused was that our strikers were offside by the looks of it. So, I mean, it was a good idea from Hull, just whipping the free kick in before everybody was ready. Stainsby's had a poor game. Oh, we're really down to the bare bones where Afsharian's back on the bench now because of the injury to Symes. Dan Fisher's going to be back in the team before long. Ruggles, I tell you what, Ruggles is also playing poorly. Let's get Afsharian on. Afsharian playing as part of a front 3. This might be his calling in life, because he was always more of a support striker when he played as part of a front 2. He'd get into wide positions, use the channels well, create chances for whoever was alongside him. So playing as part of a front 3, I can't say that, might be ideal for Ali Afsharian. Josh Sawyer, he's not playing well and he's on a yellow card, but we don't have any more centre-backs at the club. Same with Brandon Hughes, who was shattered. Let's take off Anderson and bring on Tony Barron, just because we like to make our third substitution. I wouldn't feel right getting into the final 10 minutes with all these extra substitutes still sat on the bench, and Portsmouth do grab what's probably going to be a late winner. And they deserve it as well. Looking at the stats, they've deserved to get a result out of this game. Hugo probably should have done a little bit better. If he was 6'2", like all the best heroes are, then he would have saved that probably. And now Sawyer's getting his red card as well. So I have absolutely no idea who's going to play at centre back for us in the next game. It probably will be Denny. Denny goes in there now. We're going to play a 4-2-3 for the last 5 minutes. And oh goodness me, the wheels. Can everyone hear that? Can we hear the sound of the wheels falling off now, everybody? Lenton to Hull. Can we not have a penalty? Would that be too much to ask for us to get a penalty and just grab an equaliser? We were in such good form, and frustratingly, it's now 3 straight defeats, and we haven't played really, really badly in them. We've just not had any luck go our way. There's been a few moments of absolute madness from our players, and then some bad luck. And it's ended up turning what was an incredible run of good form into, this is looking a little bit rough now. And we've now got to go into our next game, which we're probably going to go back to the 4-3-1-2, because that is 3 straight defeats for the 4-3-3 now. But we haven't got any defenders. What am I supposed to do? If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. Thank you very much for watching.